Inside the industry. This is probably this is my first back in-person interview. I'm super excited. We're outside, so welcome to the elements of the sounds of LA. The birds are chirping, they're out, they're here with us, they're present, so enjoy that in the audio clips. But I'm super stoked because this is not only just a guest, this is my best friend of what are we at?
22 years?
No, what the fuck? More than that.
22, 23.
Oh.
Yeah, because we met when we were like 5 and I just turned 27, so yeah.
Okay, so longest friend I have literally ever had in existence, probably same for you. Her name is Christine Torto. Try me. I'm super stoked. She had no idea I was going to have her on, but I've been planning this for quite some time.
Shocked.
No, I was super stoked because for you, I mean, I've known you for however many years, and then to be able to see you step into yourself. You went to LA. You and I kind of took very separate routes.
Yeah.
You went LA bound. I went New York bound.
Like
18
same
years
routes,
old.
different cities.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I kind of want you to tell us about that as far as your journey, because I think your journey is super special. I've gotten to see it from a lot of different angles.
Good, bad, and ugly.
Good, bad, and ugly. But that's the good shit. And I think a lot of people need to hear that. Like how it is stepping down into LA, being so young, being a woman, trying to conquer at that time. Mind you, y'all, she has dipped into many, many sides of the industry at this point, which we're going to get into because I also think that's tea. But it's really great that you, obviously, your main goal is what? Being?
Now it's changed a little, but
Yeah.
it's always in performance. So I feel like everything is dance-based, but now I'm dabbling into acting, but I'm super into like drag performing.
Yeah, porn
so
on the side, but only
anything on the corner
if
performing.
It's
okay. Whatever comes up, I'm open to these days. But yeah, I feel like as long as I'm kind of on a stage or in front of a camera, it could be a crowd at a club or a stadium. I don't care. I just know that I love performing, and I feel like that's what I'm meant to do.
Yeah.
So.
And so, but when you were 18, though, what was it for you? Dancer was like do or die dance.
100%.
I feel
like
that
when
was
it was like junior, senior year, and my guidance counselor was like, "No, you have to go to college. Like, find all these schools." And I was just like, I just don't think that is meant for me. I don't want to do that. And I knew about Millennium Dance Complex in LA, and I saw that that's where all the dancers were. So I was like, get on a plane and go. And after like 2 months after graduating, I moved out here.
Yeah. Did you get a lot of people? I mean, I know I was like, do it, bitch, because I was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But did you get a lot of people? Did you have any form of like questioning yourself and making the move?
I think I did, but I actually, no. When I was 18, there was no telling me any different. When my mind was made up about something, like that is exactly what I was going to do.
Yeah.
And luckily, I mean, even though my family was like, what the fuck, you're an idiot, they also supported me 100% in every single way to get me out here.
Yeah.
So
it was a scary big move because it was different.
Exactly.
It was like, wait, what? And it was LA was unknown completely.
Yeah.
And I also think LA then and LA now, even though it's only been what, like a 10-year difference?
Yeah,
just
almost 10 years.
It still has changed, I think, a decent amount.
So much.
Yeah.
Like it's insane to be back.
And in the dance scene.
And just being older and like learning different things. But when I came here, no plan. Like took a taxi from the airport straight to the dance studio. Like, and I was like, okay,
no, not literally straight.
No, literally. And I was like, where am I staying? And there was a motel down the street.
Very classy.
And because I didn't have a car, and I was like, I just want to be in walking distance to this studio. I want to be able to get there as quickly as possible every single day.
Yeah.
So it's called the Colony Inn in North Hollywood. And it's super like clean and nice and like 5-star.
5-star.
Yeah, no, it's horrible.
Great.
But I checked in there and I was staying there for probably about a month. And it was very interesting. A lot of interesting people stroll through motels, but the guy at the front desk really, you know, kept a lookout for me and really like,
Said, I got you, girl. You
I could call him at the front, like, someone's at my door, like, so scared. But every day I was so, like, disciplined. I'd wake up early, I'd get done, I'd walk over to Millennium, and I would dance all day. I would take classes all day.
And I think people think she's being facetious in that, but, like, legitimately would try to call you, catch up with you. She was never not in a dance class.
Literally.
And I feel like we talk about that a lot, especially on this podcast, of like people's determination and how much you need to like be hyper focused at something at the time. Because I think I mean, I think back then you and I were very similar, where it's like you couldn't tell me anything.
Right.
All I wanted to do was make up, eat it, live it, breathe it. Do you
eat
physically eat it, test it in my mouth? But do you feel the same way now? Or have you found a balance? Because I feel like you've completely...
I think I've found a balance, and I think just like in every education, not every class is going to serve you. Like, not every teacher is actually going to teach you something that you need to know or that's going to be beneficial. So you end up wasting money, you end up wasting time, and you're gaining almost too much information from too many different sources that it's hard to find a direction or like what is actually working for you.
I feel that.
But I think people find the pressure to be like, if I'm not in class all day, every day, then I'm not training, then I'm not working hard, then I don't want it that bad. That's not fucking true. You can be smart about your training and say, I know that this one class is going to serve me. I'll do that weekly.
Sure.
Or, you know, whatever it is for anything in this industry. But I ended up finding that along the way, like, okay, I'm wasting my money on this, bitch. Like, this is not helping me, you know?
I mean, I feel the same way. I feel like people, and also we have to remember, it is a business.
Yes.
So people need to make money. So they're going to sell you something and telling you something that it's like like a speech coach would be nice for me. I should have invested in that. That would have been fucking excellent. Didn't learn that. But seriously, like, it's just so many things and tools. Or you need this in your kit. Or you need to have this many years of learning airbrush to be the best. It's bullshit.
And so many of these people,
believe in roundness.
all tea, all shade, so many of these people are low-key not qualified.
Oh.
It's like they do it because, like you said, they either have a following, so they think that makes them qualified, or they've done it for 5 seconds, and they're like, now I can charge $100 for a master class. But
meanwhile, they've been doing it for like 2 years, and now they're a master. We also live in the world, though, of that, where it's everyone is an overnight professional.
Yeah.
I have an iPhone. I'm a photographer. I took a picture of myself. I'm a model. And it's not, I mean, live your fucking life.
Yeah.
Live your best life. I love the confidence that people are finding in all the different avenues of art and creativity. That's one thing being said. It's another to then, I personally think, and that is my opinion, and I will stay strong in it, there's a very large difference between a professional and somebody who has hobbies or likes or loves in something versus...
Right now, that's something that dancers, real dancers in the community who have been training for years, who know their foundation, who are working on professional jobs, they're dealing with that same thing right now because of Instagram and TikTok. Like, there's TikTok dancers being hired, and you're like, wait, what? Like, you stand this close to a camera and you're like, whatever the hell they're doing, I don't know, but it's like,
I mean, I can't do it, but
they're being called for jobs when
Right.
there's people who have been training for years and actually know their shit,
Right.
and they're being, you know, looked past
yeah.
because they don't have millions of followers on TikTok.
Yeah.
You know, it's
no,
just,
I can't agree more. I think it's ridiculous. That being said, I mean, you took the time to not only learn like the education and what you were doing back then, but also the history of dance,
Yeah.
where it came from, how and not to, like, basically to pay homage to stuff and understand why and what the dance moves you were doing. So at the time you were very heavily involved in hip hop, house. What else?
So I kind of took a turn and I started getting more into the freestyle scene. Yeah. I was surrounded with all the freestylers in the freestyle community, the underground community, club heads, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And these are all people who know their shit.
Yeah.
And that was hip hop, popping, locking, whacking, house, Chicago footwork, and I wanted to learn all of it.
Yeah.
And it was so much more than just, these are the moves, copy them. It was, this is the foundation. These are the OGs who created these dances.
Yeah.
These are the cities that the dances were originated in. And this is the club that it was originated in. This is the DJ that spun the first track of house, and, you know, all this different kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And when I started learning about that, I was falling more and more in love with the styles.
Yeah.
And I felt like I had so much more in my little bag to pull out, and I knew how to dance. Then I wasn't just going to choreography classes where I was just mimicking someone else's moves. You could throw on a track of any different style of music, and I could dance to it freely.
There's like depth, purpose, deep understanding in something.
And individuality within the movement.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, because then you're taking on something, but you'll always be you. So it's you finessing this of something that's been done before, but in how Christine's going to do it. That kind of literally made me right way into all the things I wanted to ask you, because kind of why you're here for the theme of it all. I've known you intimately, obviously, so I know you, and I've seen you in your personal growth, mental growth, like financial, everything. Like just you growing as a woman and maturing and getting into your different pockets of life and what that's brought you.
Yeah.
But I think the foundation of what you just said, and it goes across the board for every industry, but even on an individual level,
Yeah.
is that until, and I don't want to dog people that they're like, I haven't found it out yet, but you can't lie and act like this is not a factor until you have found the center of yourself,
Yeah.
your truest being, what that means for you, who you are, what you stand for, what you like, what direction you even want to go, and what aligns with you honestly and authentically in life. And the deepest thing of what you're saying, just who you are, where you come from.
Yeah.
Because the same thing like we just talked about with dance and where that all comes from, how much better of a dancer are you now knowing that knowledge and how you can perform? It's the same thing with you being an individual and a person and how you can show up in life.
Yes.
Not only for yourself,
Yeah.
but in your career.
Yeah.
So I want you to kind of give me that turning point for you and when you started to really be like, I'm Christine and this is who I am and how I want to live my life.
This just happened recently, like
Right.
so recently, because it did not happen the first time around when I was here.
No.
I was probably like 18 to 21 when
Yeah.
I was here. And that was a whirlwind. You run into so many people, especially that young, when you're alone, that, you know, they want to take credit for your career. They lead you completely astray. They have their own agendas for you, your life, and your career.
Yep.
They are insecure about their own. You know, there's so many different things. So that definitely fucked with me along the way. And it held me back from opportunities because I didn't have the strength, or I didn't know myself
clarity
enough
almost too.
to be like, boom, boundaries, or like, nope, I know myself, I got myself, I know what I want to do. I was trying to cling to people who I thought were good mentors, but really were trash humans, you know? So it's like, that kind of fucked with my time. But looking back,
everything for something,
I needed that.
Right,
Right. So when I left,
I
I bopped everywhere. I went to Atlanta. I went back to Boston. I went to New York. Went back to Boston. Started dabbling in different areas. But even throughout that time, I was finding other things that I was good at, but I still wasn't whole, like as a human being, and I was just struggling a lot. But I came out. Came out. And what's funny though is, yes, has that helped me?
Majorly.
100%. But
you can see it,
in the beginning, I thought, I'm going to come out, my whole life is going to change. I feel like that's what people think. Like, you come out and it's like, poof, like all this weight off your shoulders. And maybe for some it is, but for me it really wasn't. Because I still was trying to find my place now within another community. It was like, trying to find my place in the dancer community, trying to find my place here, and then it was like, now I'm out, I'm gay, I'm gonna be totally like accepted and blah blah blah. And it was like, even within that community,
there's always sector.
There was like, okay, now I'm not lesbian enough, now I'm not this enough. So I still had struggles throughout that, but I think it was just getting older. Within, honestly, it sounds insane, but this quarantine, so within the last year.
Oh my God, it's been so helpful for so many people.
Really, like I had to sit with myself. I wasn't going out. I wasn't dating. I couldn't be distracted. Like I just really had, like I had to get into therapy. Like there were so many things that I had put off for so long that in a time of like solitude, I really had to face. And turning 27, as cliche as it sounds, like just getting older,
so
like
old.
Grandma,
She's like
get me my cane, like I can't even walk. But it was just like, I don't, something clicked in me where it was like, I stopped giving a fuck. I'm never gonna be what everybody else wants me to be, and the only time that I'm truly happy is when I am doing me, being me, and just like being authentic and just like living my life the way that I've always seen it. Like that's
truly,
the biggest thing.
And I think that bleeds into your work too, because like you had said earlier, it's hard. And I kind of want to pick your brain because I had similar situations. Not as bad though. Like I feel like people might who listen to this who know me and go, who like led you astray? Nobody really led me astray, but I'm very much like a sponge. And at that time when you're young, and if somebody's advising me and it's in an area that I don't have experience in yet, I'm a very trusting individual. I'm very naive in that sense. I've outgrown it, so don't fuck with me. But but it's like, ooh. But it's just a ridiculous thing. So you kind of, you know, you go into it very innocently, and it's sad that the people kind of see that in you and that you're willing to be molded in that way. Though I would have liked to be molded in a more of like, lead me in the right direction and show me the shit that I don't want to be having to be influenced by, or things that I could avoid. That would have been a nice influence in molding versus like you said, when people naturally project fears on you or their own losses or the things that they didn't achieve, so therefore, well, you can't achieve it. And that's always a bitch, right? So for you personally, Do you feel like there was any particular moment that you can kind of like remember where somebody was maybe doing that to you and your gut told you otherwise, and it was just like, what helped you in that moment be like, were you able to put your foot down? I know this is a confusing question a little bit.
Oh, no, not confusing. I'm laughing because it's
a lot of times.
So many times.
Yeah,
that's what's sad about it.
Yeah.
And it's like you bounce from one person to the other, because I would deal with one person.
Yeah.
And when I kind of started to distance myself from that person and go, oh, this other mentor sees something in me, then I would find the same things were happening with that person. So I distanced, and it was like each person was like, oh yeah, no, they're leading you astray. Come with me. But then they do the same thing.
The blind leading the blind.
It's a very fucked up, manipulative industry, and especially
it can be. Yeah, you got to be careful. People
like LA, you have to find those solid people who really rock with you. And if you don't fucking find them, you're better off alone. Like you can find the information that you need, and nowadays you can keep people at bay. Like that's what I learned too. Don't let people in so quickly, because they take advantage of those insecurities that you have and whatever. But
I would say that not the quickly part, because it's like, if let them prove it to you. It's like dating.
Yes.
Like
100%.
You're not going to come moving with me on the first day. I don't know you. You're a stranger. Again, though, we live in a very, on my side and your side, like you have to have a personality. You got to be fun. You got to bring shit to the table. So I feel like it really, our industry creates a very friendly environment very quickly.
Yeah.
So then we're kind of trained to be like, well, I'm meeting a stranger every new day on set, but I got to act like they're my best friend and talk about their life, and I get to know you, and by the end of the 12 hours on set, we're besties.
Right.
In reality, that does not happen in real life usually. Like, ever.
Or people take that as an invitation that you are best friends, when you're like, girl, I'm just being nice.
I'm just
like,
being nice. I'm merely doing my
This
job.
goes nowhere after this.
Don't call me when I leave set.
Yeah.
Exactly. But it's hard. I think the the boundaries get mixed a lot, and going back to our younger ages, for people that are coming up in the industry, it's just something that I feel like you need to be more self-aware of, and like you saying, keep people at bay and let them earn that trust and respect.
That place in your life.
Keep an open mind, because you might run into some amazing people. Because in that token, have you ever hit anybody that, I feel like recently, obviously you did, with your current situation?
Totally. Like, and it was me getting older though, and knowing how to kind of suss out the people who
time and experience helps. So there's that.
But I mean, did I have people at that age along the way who definitely looked out for me?
Cheered for you, did the right shit.
Oh yeah, were in my corner, who I'm still friends with today, or who still, look at my shit and support me even from a distance? Absolutely.
We love that.
Sometimes it's those I don't want to call them evil, but sometimes those evil energies.
Evil Satan worshippers.
But they really, they can end up taking over. But yeah, I mean, even my current boss, the costume designer that I'm assisting, Johanna, what's up?
Yes.
But, we met in Boston, and I wasn't even working for her at the time.
Right.
I was in a different department, and
the bird loves it.
I know. Bird!
Go ahead.
She came back out here for a job, and she called me, during quarantine, and was like, if you want work, you can come assist me and work out here. And, that's someone who knew I had to get out of Boston, come back here, supported me,
they had
and
your
really
best interest at heart.
Yes, and all she was
no
really
other
basing it off of was she saw my work ethic on set, but really my personality, and we got along so well.
Yeah.
So
well, a lot of people don't realize that, and kind of going back to, I guess I'm sure people are like, wait, what is she even saying? Because Christine stepped into this game, and her goal was being a dancer. Professional, choreographer, creative director. She can pretty much do that all. She's been doing it since high school in our theater days, for all those theater kids growing up. That is just her full realm. That's how we fully flourished I think, together creatively when we were younger. Totally. That was our niche.
Yeah.
But then you, like you had said, you came to LA, did your thing, and then went back home. When you were back home, the dance scene though it is and has its moments, but you started venturing into more production side of the entertainment business.
Yes.
So for you, you've literally done directing, assisting, you've done PA work, you've done personal assistant works for people. You can plug, because I'm proud of you. It's huge.
Yeah,
literally.
So I got back there, and I was like, I just need work. I need to make money.
Yeah.
And a lot of films were starting to really pick up in Boston. And my sister was like, if you want to be a PA on this little movie that's happening.
Yeah.
And Carol Kane was on the movie. And I didn't work there not 2 days before she said, do do you want to be my assistant?
Wild. But what position were you in when you were on set? And then she was like, hey, girl,
literally
you.
just a PA driving people back and forth from set. And
but I think that speaks volumes, because there are so many. It does, because the people that know the PAs, and shout out to all the PAs, because it's literally like insane labor for like pennies.
Oh yeah.
But to then be called out in that format, when you unfortunately a lot of times they completely get overlooked. You're merely just like being the busy hands and doing the bitch work, essentially. Sorry, they're super valuable. But in those positions, opportunities can still arise, which is the principle.
Yes. It's like, don't be like, I'm just a PA, this can't lead me to anywhere, or I'm not making shit, or I'm just gonna stand here on my walkie and be miserable. It's like, somebody can spot you from across the way and be like, that girl has busted her ass all day, and she's had a smile on her face the whole day, she's been so positive, like, she's so funny, or whatever it is, and they can be like, I want her around me all the time. And that's what's happened for me now so many times, is that, and I wasn't okay with being a PA. I know that sounds horrible, but I was like, I just knew that this was not going to be a long-term thing for me.
I think that mindset helps, though.
Yes.
Not to say, again, that every job isn't worth and you can learn so much and gain experience and opportunities can come of it, but I do think when you step into things, that's how I felt when I did hair, is that I had to make sure on any job that I did hair that they knew I was a makeup artist, not a hairstylist. I don't want to leave this job them thinking that this is what I do. This is merely helping me get from point A to B. So same for you.
Exactly. And I just knew, I was like, there's more for me. I'm sorry.
I love giving coffee and tea and chocolates, but
trust me, I still had to do that as a personal assistant, but there was more perks to that at least. But so then I assisted Carol Kane, and she was amazing, and it was just like, I felt good at it because I'm a people person and I'm good at taking direction, so to me it really wasn't difficult. And then from there, you know, I would day play on a couple of gigs, and actually
what did you day play as?
So I would either do like a key PA, something like that, like more with the actors. I was like starting to kind of work my way up a little bit. But it was Little Women had come, and I was
to shoot in Boston.
Yes. Okay. But I was only on that set 2 days because I got a call from Liam Neeson's personal assistant in London asking me if I'll be his assistant for a movie here in Worcester.
And how did that connect?
Somebody referred me from a different job and said I think she'd be great, and I had never done somebody that high caliber before. I was like shitting my pants. I was like, oh my god, but I was like so excited. But even still within the interview process, I thought, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm gonna get this. Like I literally.
Wait, tell me, T, what is the interview process like for that?
Well, I had to like, you know, Zoom with her, and she's like been working with him for years.
Liam's other assistant.
Yes, so she normally like travels with him, but for this movie, she like it was like something, she had a surgery or something like that, and so she just like didn't want to come all the way from London. And so she wanted to find somebody local for him. But I'm thinking they're interviewing so many people. I didn't have that much on my resume, and some of it was a little made up. But
sometimes we gotta just gas ourselves up.
To get yourself there. Like, if you know you can do it, then just put it down.
Just gotta be able to back it up.
Lies are okay if you can back it up.
I love lying.
I'm pathological. But anyway, so then, I don't exactly even remember, but I know that I had to like, you know, Zoom with her, and I of course had to talk to the people in the production. The producers and stuff like that, and they were like, okay, you got the job, and this
within
is
the same time frame, or did you have to wait for that call?
Not very long. I think it was a couple of days or something like that.
I wonder if it got passed to him and he was like, yeah, great, or like he has no say. Like,
we hadn't met. I didn't talk to him before meeting him. Like, that's also why I was very nervous, because the first
I wonder if you said it was on Zoom.
Oh, maybe he was in the background, like.
Or they recorded it and they showed him.
Oh, maybe.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, I'm always so
that's
curious.
true.
Because we've had moments. Did you see me before you saw me? What did you think? It's like,
Because in my mind, I'm like, we haven't met. Like, he doesn't know anything about me, vice versa. But that was a cool experience because it was very, very personal along with work. So I had to learn a lot more about production while also just learning about this individual who's been in the game for decades, you know. So he is a vet at this stuff. And so setting up his apartment, you know, like doing all that before he arrives, like seeing Liam Neeson come down in a helicopter on a helicopter pad, and I'm just like,
Here I am.
Yeah, shaking with the pen. Literally, I was like, here's your coffee. He's like, I don't drink coffee. No, I'm just kidding. He is, let me preface, he is the most amazing person you could ever work for. He is so sweet. We keep in touch to this day. And he also says he will come for anybody who tries to fuck with me.
Yeah. Just know, you've seen his movies. It's hardcore.
You will be taken.
You will be taken. You will never be found.
Ever, like, buried.
That is messed up. No, but that's hilarious.
Yeah.
But on real, like, did you have to do any? I have had jobs. I've had my fair share of celebrity work, not to the point where I would ever even dare call myself a celebrity makeup artist, but I've had the moments of the random gigs that come up.
Totally.
And it will geek me out to a degree, but then when I'm on set with them, I've only had one, like, fully, like, couldn't get my shit together, kind of, and I was just, like, a mess the whole time and didn't know what my name was. But I, for the most part, could hold my shit down.
Yeah.
But did you have to, what was your mental process to prepare for calibers? Because I feel like people that are out there, that when they do start moving along in their career and opportunities come, sometimes they stunt themselves in the fact that they're like, whoa, and the self-doubt comes in, and they're like, I'm not worthy, the imposter syndrome sets in, and then they're being presented with an amazing opportunity, and that's for a reason, but they end up not taking it.
Yeah.
So you jumped in full head, zero freaking
experience, really.
Truly, right? And in a very different area, though, of the entertainment business, but not what you were shooting for.
Yeah.
What did you do to prep yourself?
I honestly, did I look up how to, like, be an assistant? Those were definitely some, like, Google, like, what do I need? Like, do I need any sort of, like, materials? Like, how do I whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, and nothing was that helpful. And so all I kind of had to do was dive in. And what I learned from assisting now so many people is it's going to be different every time because these are human beings. Yeah, is the set going to be the same? Do I need, I don't know, their script? Do I need it? Whatever. But where they want their script is going to be different and at what time and to, whatever. So he was actually a very routine person, which ended up making it easy for me.
What to expect.
Every day is the same breakfast, the same time.
No way.
Oh, yeah. And he's just but he is a routine, like, disciplined person. For his age, he's extremely healthy. And, so it was easy to catch on to his just way of life, knowing what he likes, what he doesn't like, and, having to make a couple of mistakes. But I'm lucky that my first big job like that was with someone so gracious to where he would just be like, Christine. And I'd be like, sorry.
Never do it again, sire.
But then, you know what? We ended up hanging out so much, and we got close on a personal level. And
well, that's half of it, right, though?
100%.
I think that we're getting across is that truly it's like you might not have the biggest resume in that area, but if you're willing to jump in, you have a positive attitude. You're a pleasure to be around. Is probably one of the biggest selling points, I think, for most people in any part of this industry, because we are with each other for, like, nauseating hours.
It's too long of days to be with, like, miserable energy or negative energy or know-it-alls or this, that. It's like you rather hire the person that maybe doesn't have as much experience, but you're like, I have a bomb time.
No, and your good time can read a and it's still a job at the end of the day. So I think it's a lot of that. And it's interesting, too, because I feel like some people, this is the shitty part, because I had a lot of the, like, blind, like we had said, naiveness of, like, willing, ready to go. I don't know about you, but I've lost it a little bit along the way, because now as I've matured, now I've made the mistakes and now I know certain things. So I have less of that blind driven ambition to just jump in a job like, I don't know what I'm doing, but hire me. Versus now I'm like, okay, like, I don't want to fuck up and I don't want to look bad and I'm not qualified, so maybe let me not. But I think the more that we can find that balance and understanding that even in those big rooms with those big celebrities, those big moments, that really, truly, if you ground yourself, it's not as scary as you think it is. And those people aren't they're not any more qualified than you are. Most likely. Sometimes, I mean, Meryl Streep could literally, like, slap me.
I don't bring her a tea. That was pretty great.
She did. I did her makeup once. But But you don't, like, it's just like, but she's still a human. I'm a human. I think there's always just that respect level. And I think, honestly, too, even what gains you the respect from these, like, legends is the fact that you also demand respect. And you have respect for yourself. Because stepping into those rooms, they can read that scary energy or that energy that you're, like, I don't know, you can kind of be
submissive, walked all over.
Right. And then they kind of feed into that. And that's not attractive to them because they want to feel like you got me.
Right.
You know? So if you do have to fake it in those moments, fake it and like figure it out later.
And that's,
definitely don't bring it on set.
Other thing now is like, am I willing to try anything? Yeah. Will I jump into something and kind of learn as I go? Definitely. But what I've learned is that I'm not going to just take a job to take it, especially if it's for someone who's going to treat me like shit or not appreciate the work that I'm doing.
Yeah, it does go both ends.
Yeah, because like there's been certain jobs that I've worked on where I'm like, wow, great opportunity, but my mental health was like
shit.
Yeah,
it was crazy
just,
though.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest jobs are the biggest people, and they're like, oh my god, and behind the scenes you might be like, how was that? I want to know all about that job. And you're like, that was actually the worst job I've ever done.
Yes.
It looks bright and shiny, but that was the worst experience. Versus, you know, maybe something on a lower scale and it was absolute bliss the whole time.
And half the time you get paid the same.
And what is yours? Like, right.
Who cares?
No,
like,
truly.
Who really cares? I'd rather have a good experience and a good time. And names don't mean anything at the end of the day.
They really don't. They really don't. And I think the more you chase it, the more it shows that that's what you're searching for is just this like clout, essentially. Yeah. It's just not going to work out too well for you. I think we've seen that proven so many times. Yeah. If you want longevity in a career, that's not what you should be striving for. It's just names on a resume. No. It's never the case. Now, I kind of want to dive into, because for you to, now you're back in LA. Yes. Like officially, right? For the most part, for short term. Here on a job.
At first, I was like, I'm just going to come back for this job, and then I'm going to leave. But now, as some time has passed and the weather's been so amazing.
Birds are chirping for the 50th fucking time. Yeah, it's a great place.
Just cheering us on out there.
Have a whole new
I
audio
think
track.
I have decided that I am going to stay and rock it out. Like, this is my second time around, and it's already going so much better than it did the first time. And I mean, where else am I going to go right now? I don't want to go back to Boston. I love Boston. Everything is amazing there. But I grew up there. I did so much work there. It's like, I got to move on. You know, it's easy to say, like, stuck at home. So I'm not doing that.
Yep.
I love New York, but I'm over the cold. And I think I'm going to stay here and kind of, like, see where everything takes me.
Where do you feel, which is great, because to keep open-minded again, because we're still in the midst of quarantine, pandemic, kind of COVID living. Nothing's completely there. It's kind of a nice free space, like you said, doing a lot of self-exploring, figuring out what really does and does not work for you. And for those that don't know, I mean, you're literally, every day right now, you're working over at the Paramount lots. Yeah. And it's just, am I even saying that right?
Paramount.
Paramount. Never going to work there, apparently.
It's just a fancy way to say it.
Just
you don't
very
know.
Paramount.
Paramount.
That's all it was. A little asterisk. But you're doing that because now what is your current role right now?
So yes, I'm assisting the costume designer for an Apple TV series called Truth Be Told.
Exciting.
Yeah, so I've been here working on that since October. Yeah. And talk about another thing that I said I threw myself into. Yeah. And I mean, she is a good friend of mine, but she's also a boss-ass bitch. So I really wanted to come and, like, you know, make her proud and really, like, you know, not have her regret bringing me across the country to work for her in her department. But I have never worked for costumes before. I didn't know a single thing about it. And that just goes to show as well, I found something that not only am I learning so much about, but I'm finding that I'm kind of good at. Like, I'm really interested in clothes and fashion and styling different things and being creative with outfits. And this has opened yet another door for me of something that just excites me, whether I do this as a career or not.
Whether it's long term or not for you.
But even just like having the knowledge for my own personal life.
Yeah,
and like,
in the business.
Yes.
It's still, at least that's very much that, because that's the only place where I get a little nitpicky on people, are just like that big sister mental mentality where it's like, we all need to pay a bill, we all need to do things at the end of the day. So I feel like if you have a vision, you have to keep it pretty straight on. Yeah. So if you want to work in this business, but maybe the route that you're going is dancing, but then you teeter off to PA. Like you had said, so many different levels of it, but at least you're still in the sector of the entertainment world. You're not like, I'm gonna go do retail at Forever 21, and it's just never, it's never gonna correlate. Yeah. At the very least, you'll be in the same rooms with people that you aspire to work with, people that, you know, you can network with, anything like that. So, and also I kind of wanted to ask you, I mean, that being said, when Johanna did invite you, who's her boss, she's the head wardrobe stylist, or wardrobe designer.
Yeah, she's the designer
of the show. When she pulled you on, and like you had mentioned, it's friends, but also business. I've had many times where I've had friends as bosses. Sometimes it works out, other times it doesn't. What would be any advice that maybe you'd give to finding that balance of respect by doing the job, but also you're still
Totally.
working with a friend. So there are boundaries that are a little, like, you know, subdued. So how do you make that work? It's tough.
It is. But the thing is, it's tough, but with her, it's not tough.
That's
It's
good.
like, it's so easy, but I think it's because I've always had such a high level of respect for her, and I met her in a work environment where I saw her being this head designer, this boss woman who was running all this shit, and I was assisting the director at the time, so I did have to communicate a lot with her. So I think it helped that we met in a work environment.
That's like the president's how it started. Sure.
And I just, like I said, I had and have so much respect for her, and I never want to let her down. And I think that is the utmost thing about it. So the fun and the going out or hanging out or all of that, the jokes, whatever, that comes second tier to always remaining that, like, respect level for her. Don't let her down. Like, always remind her why it was a good idea for you to be here and work for her. Like, that's always, like, first. And then everything else is easy after that. And it's also a thing of where, like, she fully accepts me and my personality.
Right,
like,
that's who she knows what she's
thinks
signing
I'm
up for.
Yeah, we have a really good time. But it can go so quickly from, like, kiki, like, we're all, like, dancing in the office to, like, oh, shit, this needs to be done. And it's like, boom,
you got to turn it off.
Yes. So I think knowing when to flip that switch and kind of like you said before, reading the room. Like, if she's stressed out and trying to focus on something, that's not when I'm making jokes and, like, being all hype, you know? So it's
very much like a social experiment in our industry. You almost
totally
really got to read the vibe
like,
all the time. And it can be hard where a lot of people, I think, on our back end, I know I've heard a lot on the makeup artist standpoint where people take it personally because one day you're like you're saying, and we're all like hype. And then the next day they're not about that. And you're like, is it something I did? Do I need to whatever?
That's for the birds.
You got to just.
That's for the birds, literally.
You have these literal
like
birds. But it's true. It's so many elements that you can't take personally, especially then when you've worked intimately with this person. You have to be able to. It's like church and state. I don't know why I know that expression, but it sounds good. So you got to be able to separate church and state. So and just keep it in mind in your forefront the whole time, which is exciting. And I've loved seeing the fashion side of you come out in this, which kind of leads you into, I think, why I got to come out to LA right now and why we're presently in this beautiful weather and I get to sit with you is you recently, and I've always known you as this person. This isn't anything new. Like, wow, all of a sudden you just decided to want to do creative direction and, like, build stuff from the bottom up. You did it all the time in high school when I knew you. You would envision stuff, see it through, whether that be full dance choreographies, assistant choreographing with, like, literal full-blown adults when you're like, what, 15, 16, and they trusted you enough to come on to do a full-blown theater production on a high-scale level. Like, I know it's high school, but we had a very prestigious high school that you and I both attended. As far as the theater department, extremely extensive. So you were able to do that and always step into a leadership role, but also stay very creative and new and teach and show people and express your vision. Because that's another thing, too, an element to it. You can be a creative-ass person. You can have a lot of vision, but then you cannot know how to communicate that for anything it's worth. So then it gets mulled or it doesn't come out right, and you're frustrated because you're like, I have all these ideas, but you don't know how to show me. You know, I always think about on it on a light scale on my end, where it's like, I have a look I want to create, but I'm a miserable drawer. So a lot of the times I have to physically do it on somebody to show them what I'm actually envisioning. Because if I try to do a cute little face chart, you're gonna be like, I don't know what that's gonna look like, and that ain't cute, and let's not do it. And I'm like, no, it's perfect. You have no idea what it's gonna really be. So I want you to kind of give us a little bit of tea about that. I want you to kind of tell me about your recent endeavor, why, and I don't know if it's quarantine or what it was for you that made you really want to unearth this particular project and how you kind of conceptualized it from beginning to end.
Well, I guess I'll take it back that I, within the last year, have been getting very into drag, and this does lead to answering this question.
No, I love it. We love a roundabout answer.
And, you know, that was another one of those things where it was like, can women do drag? Can gay women do drag? All these things.
A whole other conversation.
Yeah, and I was getting validation from gay men, drag queens. I was seeing a lot of things where it was like, actually, the history of drag, women have been doing it for decades upon decades.
For those that don't know, where were you getting praise in? For you doing your own drag at home? Or you doing your own performance-based stuff?
Oh, just because this was kind of during quarantine. I was doing different looks, and I started getting wigs and just
putting
doing
it out there on Instagram.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. For those that don't know.
And then, like, when we were in P-Town, and I had people coming up to me asking for photos, what's your drag name? And I was like, I don't have one yet.
Right,
and
right.
Like,
meanwhile, she's full head to toe, like, drag, like.
But I'm like, oh my gosh, like, are these guys coming up to me to, like, give me some sort of shit? You never know. But to be like.
Is that really what went through your head?
Oh, yeah. Because the community can be like, there's always like separation.
There's always
even
subcultures within a culture and community. Always.
So it's like,
sadly.
for the most part, is it like uplifting and positive and about like loving and accepting? Absolutely. But there's always in any community those people or groups that are like, you shouldn't be doing that, or that's not meant for you, or whatever.
This is what it is, and if you're not that, you're out. Yeah, sure.
And then some of my like favorite drag queens that I follow, I saw tweets or Instagram posts from being like, FYI, women can do drag, and I was like, screenshot that,
like, that aligns with me.
Yeah, like I was meant to see this.
Yeah.
But that like tapped me into a creative part of myself.
Yeah.
With hair, makeup, costumes, like just getting so into the whole thing about it. And then I get to dance, I get to perform. I'm not a singer, but I can lip sync to music, you know? So it's like that whole thing started bringing something out of me.
Yeah.
Then
just before you go further too, because I kind of want to know a little bit more about that, as far as the drag aspect and it bringing out all those things for you, did it, on a personal level for you, did it add to more of your confidence? Did it add to more of like you understanding yourself as a creative? Like I feel like it fueled a lot for you in stepping into that, because that's now become, again, I've known this chick since what, 6, 7 years old.
Yeah.
So to see the type of and the levels and things you've gone through, I feel like this is your truest form.
I think so too.
And I feel like that's given you a lot of your identity
and like confidence. And it's also, this is gonna like, hopefully this makes sense, but I am a very straight presenting woman. I know this, and I have to accept that, and I also have to know that that's part of my privilege, if you will.
Totally.
You know, because I walk down the street and people who are homophobic or don't agree with certain lifestyles, they can look at me and I pass, because
you don't get the flack on the street.
I look like a straight girl.
Yep.
Which to me always sucked, and I went through the time of, should I shave my head, should I pierce my eyebrows,
I remember I was like,
should I wear boy clothes? But it was another one of those moments of conforming, of like, that won't actually be me, that's me trying to fit in, when I can be just as gay as the next bitch, but I don't have to look like
this
you.
Is still me.
Right, exactly.
And who I am on the inside and who I choose to have a relationship with or love has nothing to do with also my image. That doesn't have to like...
So then like coming
in
into drag and stuff,
yeah,
the over the top look, the sometimes people not knowing, is that a man in drag? Is that not, like, it's extra. It's still even like shocking to certain people who don't see it every day.
It's not their norm.
And it kind of gave me that sense of like, in a weird way, standing out to fit in with my community, and also putting myself in the shoes of people within my community who maybe don't pass. I wanted to put myself in the shoes as well of people who don't pass on a daily basis, who walk down the street and people clock them or say nasty, mean, rude, homophobic things to them. You know, people in the trans community who are within their transition or anything like that. You know, like just a guy who wants to wear nail polish and makeup will get shit for it. So I wanted to, in a way, know what that feels like to put myself out there in that way. And along that journey, I discovered like other parts of myself, and I just started feeling more like me.
Right.
So then there was that.
Yeah.
And then when I came out here, I kind of had to put everything on pause because I was just working all the time at the studio, and it was just hard to find the time to do anything extracurricular.
Balancing those hours, baby.
And then I was getting antsy though, so during Valentine's Day, I created an eleganza extravaganza at work, and it was a Valentine's Day theme. So every day, Monday through Friday, was a different theme.
Yeah.
Left on Red, Smell My Flower, I Feel Love, which was a like Donna Summer disco theme. We had it, Yeah. And so everybody at work, they did try. I will give you guys that. They had their little pops, but this was my moment
tens across
to like.
The board, but
yeah, it was not tens across the board. But
they gave it a solid effort.
Yeah. But this was my moment to like tap back into my creativity.
Yep.
I came in full outfits, hair, makeup. I was strutting around the lot like that, and I didn't give a fuck. I felt so confident, and I was getting so many compliments, and not what that was about, but like, I
it just
felt
proves something in that moment, though.
Yes, like
that
I
can
felt
be
good
myself.
about myself,
Yeah.
and other people noticed and liked it too.
Right.
Instead of being scared or being like, oh, I look
Holding
stupid
back.
or, you know, whatever. It was like, I woke up in the morning, I put that shit on, and I stayed in it all day.
It's a very powerful feeling.
It is. And then even the people at work were like, I feel like something changed in you after this extravaganza. And it did, and I just wanted to start creating more.
Yeah.
And then my sister was like, since you look so much like Lady Gaga, and there's tribute videos for Beyonce and this, that, and the third,
Jed.
you should do a tribute video for Gaga. And it was like literally in the car that day that she said it, I started working on it. I started picking the songs that I wanted to do. There was no lag in.
Was that the same day you called me, or is it a different day?
Probably.
Oh, wow.
Because it happened so fast. It was just like, this is a good idea. I want to do it. It'll have all the elements of things that I love. And if I wait any longer, I'm going to start to question myself, doubt myself.
Yeah,
and
that part.
then,
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And then it won't happen.
Right, no.
So
Sometimes you just got to throw your shit in there because, we start to, I know my anxiety will be like, no, girl, let's think of all the things why you should not. And then I got to talk myself out of that. It takes a solid month. I've calculated it, and then I got to get back to it. Yeah. So then, no, good for you.
Yeah, started picking the songs, planning out the sets, the videos, doing my research, called you, said, will you do the makeup?
Everything head to toe, though.
Yeah.
Truly. Like, it's pretty wild.
But literally everybody who worked on it with me, you know, because you were there.
Yeah.
Yes, I set it up. I had, you know, the creative direction of how I wanted it all to go and making sure I was part of each department and whatever. But this was truly like a team effort. And that was something else. Can I do my own hair like the way Jamie did it? No, I couldn't. Could I have done my makeup the way that you did it to a T from those videos? Never. Could I have filmed myself while? No. So I think that's the thing. Like, I like to be at the center of it and say, okay, all these departments, and I'm going to work with everybody. But I couldn't do half the shit that these people are doing.
But mind you, for those that don't know you, and this is where the growth comes in, I think for other creatives too we live in a world of self-creation, self-promotion. Yeah. You know, like we had said earlier, somebody thinks of an idea and they're like, I'm a fucking genius. Now I am a creative director. It's a lot to say it. There's one thing to say it, rather, and there's another thing to actually do it and be about it. Yeah. And do it in a way that is more of a true leader than just being a monster in the process. Yeah. And what is it called? That. Micromanaging. You had to but it's good
I was a monster.
Once upon a time, she was a monster. But it's just hilarious, though, to see it because now you've recognized it. And I think working in those other work environments, you realize that in order to actually be a leader, you have to learn. I actually had an interview for a Broadway show, and I'm going to take it back. I love how I do this. But they asked me, they were like, I'm going to give you a scenario. Yeah. And I'm asking you, he had said, you know, I'm going to tell you, I need you to get this done. He gave me a long list of things he wanted me to get done before the end of the day. And I kind of looked at the list, and I had to act how I would respond in that scenario to him telling me I need all these things to get done if I was to be his assistant for this job on Broadway. And I kind of looked at it, and I was like, well, it kind of seems like an unrealistic list. And in the time to get that done for the day, so I would probably tell you that I'll get some of it done and then I'll do it the next day. And he was like, wrong. He was like, you would take whatever you can do and then you would delegate it to other people to get the job done, but not just think that it's only you who has to get the job done. You as a person that knows how to manage time, manage the things that are needing to be done, you know how to delegate as a leader and not just say, I'll do everything, and if I can't do it now, then I'll just do this later. You have to learn how to let go and give it to other people. And I was like, damn, definitely didn't get the job. One. Fuck that.
Left with a good lesson.
Left with a great lesson. Thank you. It was awesome. And it was a learning moment for me, too, that when I am on set or if I am having people assist me, learning how to dish it out versus just putting it all on your shoulders, you end up with a better result, even though it's a miserable sensation to let it go, especially when it is your creative vision and things that you're
you want control.
You want that control.
That you're the best and you're going to get it done the best, but
but the team really does. I mean, it's cliche, but really teamwork makes the dream work, and it's always been the case. Just those to know how to put the right people in place is also an attribute to you to then align with yourself with a team that works well together and can create that vision.
I mean, look at all the plugs, like even from you. Like I probably wouldn't know one person who could have styled wigs for me and
Jamie
applied wigs for me, and you know, a dancer that you had connection to. It's like
you got to be open and willing to take the help, I think, is another thing for people to learn.
And trusting the people that you're bringing on, that they can do it.
Truly, because, you know, you want to make shit happen. But, again, for the long game, You need people on your side. You cannot go alone in this industry ever, in any aspect.
No.
I don't care, large, big, crew, cast, talent, I don't care. You have to have a team of people that are backing you, supporting you, cheering you on. It's a really tough and harsh industry.
It is.
So you gotta have all the people. That's very true. That's very true. Now, going forward for you, I kind of want to like wrap you up and want to know, what do you feel like the future for you in the next like 5 years is gonna look like?
Oh my God, not the 5-year plan.
I love a 5-year plan.
I hate a 5-year plan.
I'm into all the plans. I like my to-do list on a day. Wake up, take a shit, get together, and then you'll breathe for a second, and then you'll go back to taking a shit because you never cannot shit. Yeah, that's my day-to-day.
Actually, I'm gonna shit right now.
Actually, I'm waiting to leave this podcast right now to go take a shit.
No, I don't think I could tell you my
Nothing?
No, I mean.
Okay, 1 year. I'll make it. What do you project for yourself?
Maybe it's not like, it can be a projection. Maybe not like 5 years or so. I'm not good at stuff like that. Someone asked me that on a date, and I was like, ooh, we're
never gonna make it.
I don't plan my life like this, okay?
She's like, what do you see yourself? How much money? You're like, girl, I'm trying to party.
Like, I know today. Like, I want to go to the club. Like, I don't know. That's in the next 5 minutes.
She's like, we're not aligned.
Yeah, like at all.
No.
But yeah, I think I want to create more, and I want it to go to, a higher levels.
Like, do you see a career in creative
I
direction?
think I could, and I used to say that when I used to live here.
So I'm saying, it
that
used to be a thing.
Creative director for tours or videos or something like that, but
always in dance for you. Do you feel like it's always going to have some part of you will be within dance?
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
I know it's gone in different directions at times and how, like, and what you would do, but, like,
I think so, and then I'd hope that one day, if I do get that big platform where maybe I have the, the position to hire certain people or make certain things happen, because I'm coming from being a dancer, I would love for dancers to get more recognition, to have more places within this industry, to get paid better, all those kinds of things. So if I can plug my people and plug my community first, I would love to do that.
Yeah, amen.
Yeah. I definitely want to create. I want to perform. I want to find different avenues for myself when it comes to performing.
Yeah. I mean, we've joked about it, but you would probably do it, is do a little Lady Gaga impersonation moment.
100%. After you guys see this video, these photos, you're going to gag. Because I look more like Gaga than I do myself in these photos.
That
I
is
swear.
hysterical.
Is it not true?
She's having an identity crisis.
Who am I?
She pulled it down.
But yeah, I mean, I'd be like the Derek Barry of Gaga drag, 100%.
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe doing that, performing, having fun, like traveling. I really want to do.
Oh hell yeah! For work or just for? Do you say no?
Oh no, for both. Yeah, if I can travel for work, that's great.
Somebody wants to pay me to go and just hang and drink, do it. But if I have to work while doing it, I'll take it.
Sugar mamas, we're open to it. I'm a sugar mama. I'm better than a sugar daddy.
I think a sugar baby. Yeah.
Little babies. But anyway, I find it on a day-to-day basis.
I feel that. But that's a good thing too. I think that gives you a chance to, for those that aren't the ultimate planners and are always like, oh, I need to have a schedule and some sort of routine to get me to a successful place. It's not always the case.
Yeah.
It's not. It's you kind of have to jive with whatever works for you and whatever your routine looks like.
Yeah.
And be confident in that. I mean, my therapist always tells me, I'm a procrastinator, and she's like, but do you get the work done? And I'm like, yes. She's like, does it affect your finances? Does it affect your life? And I'm like, no. She's like, well, then you're fine.
Yeah.
Because she's like, you don't have to be what people are preaching to you to be successful if that works for you.
Yeah.
Then keep doing what works for you. So it's not a blueprint to success or how to live your life in a happy way.
Just being happy in the oh my God. There were so many of these years that I was miserable and whatever that I'm like, not one more day will be wasted on misery.
No, I love that. If you could choose a word to kind of represent where your life is at right now, what would it be to encompass what you're feeling?
Oh.
Get the dictionary.
Just one word.
Just a singular word.
That's so hard.
What do you feel like is even in this present moment for you? It might not have to be the year or whatever. Where are you feeling you're sitting?
A word that would describe me in my life right now?
Yeah. Or what you're feeling.
I feel like it encompasses kind of true self-confidence.
So she wants a whole sentence. I'll give you a fucking sentence.
Yeah, I really will. It's just like all those synonyms for just like unapologetically like me. Like
that's a great.
Not allowing the inner demons, the inner saboteur, thank you RuPaul, come out and like fuck with what I want to get done. Like I'm happy. I love the people who I have around me, even if it's 3 people, and I just feel confident. I feel good. Yeah. Everything's great.
Well, thank you for that. I really love that. I think it's 100% on the nose, and for watching your growth, and for those listening, hopefully take a note on everything you've said, because you've been through it, and she's only given us a literal like tip of the iceberg of her experiences and things she's gone through in this industry and in a personal growth. So if you ever need advice or some insight, hit either one of us up. We're willing to give you candid advice that will hopefully guide you in a not controlling, manipulative manner.
Boom.
LOL. We are on to our Spitfire round, which I really love. We're going to start doing this more often, only because usually I end my podcast with asking them, like, what's something we don't know about you, which I love because it can take us into storyland, and that's great. But I know enough about you, so now I'm going to ask you Spitfires.
I know too much about you.
I know more than I want to know. Yeah. Less, more. All right, so here, are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
1-word answers.
Ah! Okay.
And go. Biggest role model.
Oh, RuPaul.
Ooh, favorite drag queen.
This is so hard. I'm so sorry to everybody else but Shangela.
Okay, must have beauty product.
Mascara.
Okay. First thing you do in the morning.
Probably mess with my dog.
Let's rephrase that. Pets her dog gently. I can't. Favorite thing about me.
Definitely like our inside humor.
Okay, love that. Cara Delevingne or Sarah Paulson?
Oh, you know I love an older woman, but I also love. Okay, Sarah Paulson's taken, so I'm gonna go Cara Delevingne.
Dang. Okay, let's go. If you were a cocktail, what would it be?
Spicy margarita.
Ooh, favorite Lady Gaga song?
Shit.
Tough.
How dare you?
I know.
So Spitfire. Sorry, right now, just because it was like the hit of the summer, rain on me.
Okay, work. If you could dance for anyone or any artist, who would it be?
Lady Gaga.
Bong. Biggest fear.
Biggest fear. I don't even fucking have one. No,
what?
No.
You could say that. Oh, well.
Probably dying tragically.
Love it. Do not want a tragic death.
I know. I
give me
to
a
be
slow death.
Like old in my bed.
You
like,
could easily just
away.
Give me a little. What is it in your blood?
Oh yeah.
Just like, knock my ass out. It's getting shaky.
I want to go to
Pull
sleep,
the plug.
Nothing tragic, please. No
Nothing
plane crash. Nothing like that.
I love that. I've never heard that expression. That's so scary. Nothing tragic. Thank you so much, Christine, for sitting on. I love you. I'm so happy you did it. She also styled me, so in case you're curious, this is not my outfit. Now it is, and I'm keeping it. She'll never get it back. But this
We're
is
going for a patchwork.
Yeah.
Patchwork denim day.
So we love. Yay. But guys, check her out. I'm going to tag all her stuff below. Look out for her latest endeavors. You will see this one. So she's going to blow up. Already has in my eyes. So follow all her shit. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.